there, it's Natasha and thank you so much for joining me today. One of the questions I get asked most either by email or in the comment section below YouTube is, what do I do if I just need a really quick card? Because lots of the cards that I do seem to take longer, although I think I do have quite a few cards and videos on my channel that are really short or much shorter than some other techniques. However, sometimes even I just need a quick card that kind of is 15 or so minutes. Now, this is where I have like my stock standard go-to. So these are the things that I will need for this card. I have a paper pad here that my kids have been well and truly loving and playing with. So there is all sorts of kind of bits and pieces ripped off it, but nonetheless, at least they are enjoying it and using it, which is the main thing. No point in hoarding things. That's what I'm really working on, is to make sure that I'm using everything that I have, and it's lovely that they can enjoy using it too. So I have got some grey cardstock and some kind of orangey red, I think it's more orange cardstock, out of that Playful paper pad. Then I have my card base here, and I am just going to cut this down using my paper trimmer. My card base is 5.5 inches tall, and so I'm keeping this piece of cardstock 5.5 inches tall, and then I'm just going to cut a couple of strips off either side, and then this is just how I can create a very basic background without having to do any stamping and colouring and all those sorts of things. I just use some coloured cardstock that I already have sorted, and then I just leave a little gap in between the lines, and then that means that I kind of have this nice little background sorted. Not too plain, still catches your eye, and then we're going to add a few things on top that just make this go really quickly when I need a quick card. And in fact, this video unedited was around 15.5 minutes long, and then I edited it down to be around just over 8 minutes, just kind of when I was just choosing or dawdling, or I had a gorgeous boy or gorgeous girl on my knee who was trying to help me out. Sometimes I edit out those pieces, but essentially this is the video from start to finish. So pretty short, pretty quick. I'm adding on these little strips here just with some liquid glue. I find that easier so that I can wiggle them and get them pretty much lined up. I'm eyeballing everything, and I'm also centering it slightly off to the left, but those little white gaps that we have created really make for eye-catching background, I think. Then I have the Curvy leaves die set. This is an old favorite, and I'm going to take the middle-sized leaf out of here. I'm going to die cut it out of that orange paper and the same grey paper as the background. It's important when I'm trying to put together something quickly that I don't involve too many colors or too many patterns, so I keep it simple. And my idea was that I would pop these on and kind of layer them. And then on top of that, I'm going to use, this is called the Crochet Doily. This is a Dress My Craft die, and I have die cut this just out of plain white paper. And again, you could actually just use a normal doily. You can buy them from the cheap and cheerful shops. That would go perfectly fine on here, but I have this little die here, and this is just one of those dies, and especially the leaf dies are honestly something that you can use on so many cards in so many different ways. So it's really important to remember that there is always more than one way to do things, and I want to make sure that the products that I do have are versatile for really involved cards, but also really quick cards. Now this is just my button stash here, kind of my larger buttons that are all mismatched and are just kind of random. I use these for crafting, and the kids play with them and sort them into colors and sizes and all sorts. And they had them on the floor while I was playing, and usually I don't really put too many buttons on my card, but I thought this would be a nice little feature to kind of focus the eye. So I'm actually going to take one of those gorgeous buttons. It's kind of got a satiny sheen to it, and I am going to probably include that on my card today. Now, to make life all the more quicker, I am going to use for my sentiments a pre-printed sentiment pack. This is the Paper Rose Black and White sentiments. I've been using these on a lot of cards, so I know you've seen it, and I'm not going to kind of show you super thoroughly what they are. But when I was investigating these and kind of looking at them a little bit closer, I love that all of the sentiments are things that I would use. They're not too weird or out there just to kind of add more sentiments to the thing. They're actually ones that I like. I really like the font. I love that they come in black and white. This is where I was deciding that I could probably put one of those big squares, but then I changed my mind. and just decided to go with my little plain sentiments. However, that is one thing that I like. I feel like all of these sentiments, the big, the smalls, and that is one great thing about these cards, is that they are so generic that you could pretty much add any sentiment that you wanted to. Now, just to help this stand out a little bit, because I have a lot of white going on in the card already, I'm going to trim this up and then pop it onto a little piece of black cardstock just to help it pop off the background. Now, black may not have been absolutely perfect because there's no other black in the background. I could have done some splashes, but I wanted to keep it super simple. The sentiment was also printed in black, so that did mean that there was something else black on the page too. But you could choose any color. You could have chosen the orange to go around the outside as well, just because I have a little splash of that in my card. But yeah, lots of different options. And with the pre-printed sentiments, there are, I think there's 12 or so pages, and just a lot. There's a lot. They're all different size sentiments, they're all different fonts, a few different fonts, but all really nice and clear and easy to read, which is what I like. I think they were sold out last time in my last video, so if they're not linked below, then they will be back soon, hopefully. Then to adhere down these gorgeous little doilies, if you have pre-purchased some or if you have die cut them yourself, then you can just add a little makeup sponge and pop on some liquid glue sponged onto the back of them, and that means that nothing's going to squish out the sides, but I'm going to get it adhered down really nicely, and it's time to just pop everything on. I have my two little leaves here that I just use my glue. This is the Ranger Multi-Medium in the matte finish that I use to glue them on. And then I pop them into these wee bottles, and then that means that they don't clog up. It's nice and easy. It's got a nice fine point on it, and I have my glue ready to go. As I said, I'm going to lay these up kind of one on top of the other, and I've kept it really simple. So it's a pretty neutral toned card, however, with that little pop of orange. And then with the leaves, I'm going to pop everything down flat, except for the sentiment and the button are going to have a little bit of dimension to them, just because I can. So I hope that this has been helpful. This is kind of a throw together card. There are lots of different options for these types of cards, and this truly did take me 15 minutes. So that included the die cutting and things. So it was a really quick card, but I think it turned out pretty good in my opinion. I will link all the supplies down below. Thank you so much for the support. When you use those links, they help me out a little bit with commission. I get a tiny little bit of commission each time, so I really, really appreciate that. It means the world to me, and it helps me keep this channel going. But other than that, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I really look forward to seeing you in the next one. So let me know what you think in the comment section down below, if this is your kind of go-to throw together card. And other than that, I'll see you next time. Bye!